Good evening and greetings from our studios in Central Douala. It is 6:15 p.m. and time to bring you up to speed on the latest developments in the news across Cameroon this Wednesday, November 9. First things first, though, the headlines with Kejang Henry Atembe.
The Bank of Central African States, BIAC, has announced it will release new banknotes from December 2022. The circulation of the banknotes take effect from December 15. Cameroonians express mixed feelings with the coming of the new banknotes. And contractors given till February 2023 as deadline to complete the draining of gutters and the rehabilitation of roads in Douala. The 6:15 news comes to you in a split second with Anchorman Tarike Divine Ramsey Jr.
Thanks once again for your company. Now, according to experts, the protracting crisis across the English-speaking regions of Cameroon remain one of the most underreported worldwide. And on the sidelines, tens of thousands of men, women and children continue to be forced out of their ancestral lands as a result. Now, in a fresh report, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees says over 86,000 Cameroonians have been registered as refugees in neighboring Nigeria. Sherifa Saleh.
Latest reports indicate that the ongoing conflicts between separatist fighters and the military in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon has now displaced over 86,000 people into neighboring Nigeria. According to the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, as of October 2022, 86,268 Cameroonian refugees were registered in Nigeria. The bulk of them are in Akwa Ibom, Benue, Cross River and Taraba states. On the whole, according to separate reports, the ongoing insecurity and violence across the northwest and southwest regions has now displaced over 1 million people, consisting of internally displaced persons within the country and the refugees in Nigeria. Since protests against perceived marginalization flared up in 2016 in the Anglophone regions, the security situation has considerably deteriorated with increasing calls for secession. Meanwhile, authorities in Nigeria say the continuing arrivals of Cameroonian refugees in Nigeria is complicating an already delicate situation. Nigeria is currently struggling with widespread displacement in the northwest, north central and northeast of the country due to armed conflicts. The recent flooding disaster has also exacerbated the situation after the displacement of more than 1 million people and caused the loss of hundreds of lives.
Now, via their local representatives, the population of the Bamenda 1 subdivision, and that's in the northwest region, have tabled their priority projects to municipal administrators or authorities, if you don't mind. Up next, Stephanie Chin and Annie Collins say this was during a town hall-styled hearing at Upstation in Bamenda today.
The idea of public hearing at municipal level is taking shape in the northwest region. At the Bamenda 1 subdivision, representatives of all 53 quarters have turned up to express their feelings about the running of local affairs. They have seized the opportunity to present their priority projects through quarter heads and the traditional ruler.
What was most striking today is the fact that today we face a lot of problems with water in almost more than 80-85% of our quarters. And I'm glad that in the envisaged projects for 2023, which the mayor presented, we actually touch on this water issue, and we are confident.
That has come to boost the morale of the local people. And they are very ready now to come in with the council, to work with the council so that we should have the best of development in the community.
The public hearing has been followed by a council session for elected councillors this Wednesday with discussions focused on challenges, whereas Bamenda 1 is regarded as the most peaceful at a time others are held down by the security crisis.
But like I complained, the state credit, we only depend on the state credit. It's now that these markets are coming to functions and maybe next year we have to pay bills through this project that we've had already. I want also to seize the opportunity to plead with the government to see about our state credit that is transferred to the council. We are the lowest and we are the most populated council area because we have peace in our community, and most of the other communities that have come to find refuge in Bamenda 1 Council.
The meeting has formulated a deliberation for an increase in state subvention to this municipality, which currently handles a great number of internally displaced persons.
Now, the Bank of Central African States, BEAC, has announced it will inject fresh bank notes into circulation in the sub-region as from December 15 this year. The announcement is contained in a communique signed on November the 7th by the President of the Ministerial Committee of the Monetary Union of Central Africa, Eve Ndoba. According to the release, the new range of bank notes produced in 2020 will replace the 2022 range, or rather the 2002 range. It adds that withdrawal of the 1992 range will begin from the 1st of March 2023 to the 1st of May 2023, and this exchange will take place at the counters of commercial banks. Those who fail to exchange in commercial banks within this period will be obliged to exchange the money exclusively at the counters of the central bank from the 1st of June 2023. We'll be coming back with more developments on that story in our subsequent editions of the News in English. Now, increasingly across Douala, new buildings are sprouting like mushrooms, and while they may be considered a solution to the city's housing shortage, officials at the Douala City Council say some of the new houses actually pose a threat to human existence and security across the city. Here's D. Maureen.
There are fears of a landslide in this locality that might eventually swallow up this building. Not far from here is another building that has been under construction for years, but without a building permit. Its owner finally abandons construction works. Like this building, many others serve as hideout to criminals and remain a permanent danger to passerby. Area residents see they are afraid of the unknown when they pass by, especially at night, for people to construct without getting a building permit from the Douala City Council. Anarchical constructions due to poor urban planning in the absence of design engineers is a common trend. Disturbed by the growing phenomenon in Douala, the City Council has announced a massive demolition of houses and abandoned buildings. Those equally constructed on rig zones will be demolished. Even though engaged in its repressive phase, the Douala City Council still believes sensitization will push Cameroonians to learn more urbanization laws and norms. A campaign to that effect is ongoing at One Stop Shop in Douala. If you don't have a building permit, you are exposed first to demolition at any time. Second, administrative sanctions. In this press release, the city mayor is inviting owners of buildings under construction to approach the one-stop shop for facilitating the issuance of town planning documents so they acquire their building permits as recommended by the law.
We'll stay on in Douala because since the start of the rains this year, both motorists and commuters across Douala, which is of course Cameroon's largest urban settlement, have been grumbling and complaining over the steady degradation of road infrastructure across the city. Now, apparently it appears authorities have been listening, considering the vast rehabilitation road infrastructure works currently ongoing. D. Maureen once again.
The Douala 3 and 5 municipalities are strong economic potentials that attract structural projects, most importantly, road constructions. The ongoing 12-kilometer road network and 8 kilometers of gutters and drains, as well as 8 kilometers of secondary roads and other sites have been inspected by the City Council administration. After visiting and talking with different contractors of different sites, it was made known that the execution rate stands at 15%. But for other factors like rains and poor construction that have blocked drains, and execution rates would have been more than 40% based on the deadline before the start of the rainy season. And the level of dual life works have greatly advanced and might be completed, with scenery of how devastating floods have caused to its population. The Douala City Council intends to fill such loopholes by constructing 40 kilometers of drains and gutters. These drains under construction will help fight floods and also help sustain the roads that are under construction. With roads already earmarked and graded for construction, the major problem left is demolishing anarchical structures by the roadsides and sidewalks. Contractors will have to work under pressure to meet up with the first deadline of February 2023.
Now, experts in public health say Cameroon is in dire need of an emergency fund to promptly and effectively respond to events and disease outbreaks that usually appear at short notice in the country. They've been raising the concern at an international forum on the management of public emergencies in Yaoundé. Beatrice Ngamo.
COVID-19 has been to Cameroon, like many other countries, an opportunity to strengthen the public health system in terms of preparation and response.
Has led to better coordination to respond to epidemic, has led to investment in health infrastructure, acquisition of equipment, building capacity of the health personnel, particularly in one area of managing severe cases.
This and other help to save many lives. But one major observation raised by the experts is that the COVID-19 situation has gone down, the population remains vulnerable as Africans because vaccination rate is still low. The average for Africa still below 30% and not yet 5% in Cameroon.
So in Cameroon, we have organized 4 vaccination campaigns, and the 5th is coming from the 18th of November.
Those already vaccinated are also advised to go for booster dose. 3 major advocacy were made this morning in Yaoundé to help in immediate response, 24, 48 hours, 1 week, in the face of any health disaster.
The Cameroon to have a fund, a special fund to respond to public health events, and this proposal has been accepted favorably with grace by His Excellency, the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education, and he will pass the message to the head of government.
This alongside the setting up of a National Institute of Public Health for coordination and to move Cameroon towards cholera elimination by 2030. Discussions at the center of the 4th International Forum on the Management of Public Health Emergencies and Events in Cameroon.
Now, at about 30 minutes after the hour, let's delve into the culture scene in Cameroon, because renowned Cameroonian artist Stanley Eno is leaving the country tonight for the United States of America, where he will deliver a discourse on the evolution of the Cameroon music industry within the context of the digital era. Earlier this evening, he told our staff lady Sherifa Saleh that the conference will be holding at the prestigious Yale University in Connecticut and will span November 11 to 12. Let's listen to him.
Innovative lab symposium that is being organized by the African students of the Yale University in Connecticut, a very prestigious university, and I'll be animating the conference on the music side for 2 days, and it's going to be from the 11th to the 12th of November. And I'm very much excited because, a young kid like myself, growing up in Bafoussam, born in Bamenda, growing up in Bafoussam, Yale is one of the top 3 universities in the whole of America. So for me, just speaking at Yale, it's an honor. And being the person who has been appointed to animate the music conference, I'll be speaking on the proliferation of African music in the world, the evolution of Afrobeats.
Thanks enough, Stanley Eno, and farewell as you go to other exploits in the USA. Now, the 2022 World Cup in Qatar is not formally underway yet, but the African continent is set on making history for the first time since the continent began participating in the global football extravaganza. All of Africa's 5 representatives will be handled by local coaches. Stephanie Chin.
It goes into records that for the first time, all 5 qualified African countries embark on the World Cup tournament with African coaches. The qualified countries, Cameroon, Ghana, Morocco, Senegal, and Tunisia, now have coaches from home. This is unlike before, when African teams at the World Cup have been led by coaches from Europe or Latin America. It should be recalled that in 2010, when Africa had 6 teams at the finals, only Algeria were led by an African coach, while at the 1998 finals, all 5 African representatives were led by Europeans. The appointment of coaches out of the African continent had been a routine for decades, both in national team ranks and also at club level, with reasons untold. In recent years, African coaches have been successful in continental competitions. Reason for the change. Aliou Cissé, former Senegalese player, takes Senegal's Lions awarded Coach of the Year at the CAF Award in July this year. Morocco appointed former international defender Walid Regragui as coach 2 months after he had taken Wydad Casablanca to Champions League success in May. The Atlas Lions coach began his coaching career in 2012. Cameroon will be led by Rigobert Song Bahanak, one of their most professional players who has been coach of the Indomitable Lions since February 2022. He is renowned for his defensive skills throughout his football career. Tunisia has Jaleh Kadri as coach since January 2022. He led the Qatar Eagles to qualify for the World Cup for the 6th time. Ghana have Otto Addo. The international player was named coach shortly after the Black Stars were eliminated from the AFCON. He works as a talent coach for the German professional club Borussia Dortmund.
Interesting prospects ahead for the qualified African representatives at the World Cup. And as we speak, Cameroon's Indomitable Lions, a selection of essentially home-based players, is now taking on the Reggae Boys of Jamaica at an international friendly ahead of their departure in our subsequent editions of the news. And it's on that note that we bring an end to this installment of the News in English on Canal International tonight. Don't you forget more news in French at 1950 with Alain Ghislain Kanga. Before then, a beautiful installment of The Debrief from Yaoundé right ahead. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.